Hey, Taria. Hey,
Hi.
Kaylin.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Good.
Good. How are you?
I'm terrific.
It's
And is
good.
that, I think, baby Miley? Is that baby
Yeah.
Miley? What a
Yes.
cutie she is. Yep. The beauty of the hour.
Right.
Well, Taria, you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. My name is Taria. I am a Black Gen Z. I'm 25. I'm in school at Georgia State for Film and Media Studies right now.
Woohoo.
And I'm at home with baby right now.
Awesome. And a beautiful baby she is.
Thank you.
Kaylin?
Well, my name is Kaylin. I'm also a Black Gen Z. I'm 24 years old. I'm co-owner of a luxury picnic business called Pretty Plush Picnics. I'm in school for business management, and I'm also a server.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Two very busy ladies.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, we are going to discuss today a topic that I have had on my list of potential episodes for over a year. This was a subject I wanted to discuss when I had my former podcast, Champagne Conversations Multiple Generations. And, I recently heard on the Tabitha Brown podcast, her daughter Choyce talking about what adulthood means. And her parents were asking her how she felt about adulthood. And she said she felt it was ghetto, cold, and dark. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
Dang.
whoa, whoa, whoa,
Ghetto is a great word.
Dark is hilarious.
whoa. But I can kind of understand it from my perspective. When I entered adulthood many years ago, um, it just seems like it was easier than it is today. It seems to me like it is really hard. Number one, because of lack of affordability, everything is so expensive. And
Yes.
then also, to be honest, to grow up in a world where you didn't have the pressure of social media that you guys have, with the comparison of yourselves to people who are online living their best lives, which, while we all know it's not all true, it certainly does make it look like everybody's really got it going on.
Right.
So today I wanted to discuss with you what surprised you about adulthood. Is it what you expected?
I'll start first. I would say yes and no. I would start off with no first because um, just as the simple things like politics to me, like when I was younger
Ooh,
and
woo.
the elections and stuff like that, and just what was going on around the world, I wasn't really in tune to it when I was younger, and I didn't really think it
Mhm.
was like so major. But then now that I'm older, I definitely can see the impact that it makes on just everyday living and stuff like that.
All decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I love hearing that. I'll be honest with you because it tells me that it's on your radar and you're thinking about it. And
Yes.
to be honest, it's been one of the things that I have been significantly concerned about, just because I feel like there is an apathy level amongst some folks about politics right now that says I can't make a difference, so why even engage?
Right.
And I think that is extremely dangerous, that
It
Hmm.
attitude.
is. It really is.
Yes.
I
Oh
know
my God.
someone who said that.
Well,
Literally.
I got to tell you right now, Laura, you guys are bringing chills to me because I tend to err on the side of being very optimistic, and I've tried to keep that optimistic optimism about the current election, but the recent developments have made even me somebody who tries to be optimistic and tries to tell people, hey, you got to get out and vote, you got to do the thing. And I'll
Hmm.
just be straight up, you cannot vote for Trump. You can't vote for him. I
Hmm.
You
mean,
can't.
you cannot vote for him if you are not wealthy and white.
Right.
Period.
um I was starting to lose my voice, for lack of a better way to put it. And, you guys are putting fuel back in my tank, hearing your commitment to understanding that your vote does matter.
It
It
Yes,
really
it
matters.
does.
does.
And
It
they
really
want
does.
you to think it doesn't
Does it?
matter.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that is not the topic of today's show. So
Let's not get into that.
back to what I heard you say that though in the words of Choyce Brown, yeah, adulthood can be ghetto when especially when you think about the darkness of politics right now.
Right.
Okay. What else, Kaylin? What else surprised you? What else um did you not
Um,
expect?
I'm not gonna say I didn't expect it, but it's just the responsibilities and stuff like that, and how moments can be like overwhelming, and just the stress. I know I'm only 24, but the stress. Um, yeah, I feel like that's really it. Just
Yeah.
responsibilities, and also being disciplined. I feel like
Yes.
when I was younger as well, I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and, whatever the case may be. And then, you get here and it's like, you got to stay disciplined on yourself. You got to make sure you, set goals and
Yep.
a routine, a daily routine kind of thing.
Yep.
So,
That's the only way it's gonna happen.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What about you, Tamia? What surprised you or what didn't you expect?
So I can say that adulthood didn't really, I didn't, it's not anything that I really didn't expect because, I was very attentive as a kid. You can say nosy. Like, I knew, I would listen in on conversations my mom would have about the bills and how much this cost and, stuff like that. So,
So
um,
you were a Snoop. You were a Snoop,
yeah.
basically.
I kind of knew what was going on before I had it going on, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, nothing as far as that, surprised me because we're all doing the same thing that our parents did, which is pay bills, work. You know what I mean? If some, have your own business like Kaylin,
Hmm.
tend to that, etc. But my adulthood started out as motherhood before it could really
Hmm.
take off as adulthood singly. So,
Hmm.
really, just my adulthood is, my adulthood was mixed with motherhood. So I can say that motherhood was really, the only thing that shocked me is about motherhood was really it just being kind of busy, more busy than I expected it to be. You know,
Okay.
I'm always doing something, doing something, doing something. So, yeah.
So I have a question for both of you. So both of you have hinted at um, being impressed by the level of responsibility with adulthood.
Hmm.
So how are you dealing with that? What's your support system look like?
Well, I know for me, I make sure I keep like a budget book and
Ooh,
write down.
you got
Yeah.
let me say this. I hate to cut you off again, but I am impressed with you young women. Okay, okay, keep going, Kaylin. I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, I keep a budget book. And my mom really pushed me to that, to be more on top of things and not let things, go out of my mind. Also, just, when times get rough or whatever the case may be, just know that, there's going to be a way out. You don't have to like sink into that stress and
Yeah.
don't let it,
Don't let it sit. Yeah.
exactly. So
Mhm.
that as well.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And what about you, Taria? Any other things you lean on in terms of or community in terms of motherhood is a whole other
Ball
beast.
game. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I as you know, it's gonna be a million things going on up here, right? So
Hmm.
I can't deal like that. So I
Hmm.
have a dry erase board. Took it back to class. Okay.
Woo!
So I have to literally write down, like, even if it just comes up, I have to take it off my mind because something else is going to come up as well. Like, things just happen all the time. It's doctor's appointments, it's this, it's that, the third, right? I just take it off my mind and I just put it on the board and I as I'm going through it, okay, I wake up, okay, I need to do this, take it off. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Because that's
Oh,
the only way I'm gonna get those things done. Some
Mm-hmm.
things can tend to just go to the back of my mind, and you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? I just forget just like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it can
Yeah.
happen just like that for me. As far
Yeah.
as as far as my village, I have a great village. My family is
Oh.
super supportive, and they've never let me fall. I may have got to the end, and they may have let me get to the end, but they didn't let me drop. So
Oh, I
ever,
love hearing that.
yeah,
I love hearing that.
yes, I thank God for that.
And so you say you have a village. So again, this show is all about learning and sharing wisdom.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that I, say to young women who are in the thought process of having children, I always say, do not have children where you do not have a village. If you
Yeah,
do not have a village, don't have kids
Mhm.
there. It's
Yep,
too big of a job. I
it is
mean, and
definitely.
sometimes the village can be your family, sometimes the village is friends, other moms. How did you create your village?
So I did have it. It really did consist of friends and family.
Mhm.
Because I did have friends as well that happened to have children around the same time that I did, and so I did not really technically do it alone as far as having people around me that were peers. So we were, of course, it really kept us in a positive mindset because sometimes you can feel a certain type of way that you're
Of
pregnant and you're
course.
sitting down and everybody else is doing this and that and the third and you're home and it kind of felt good to have some. It was like maybe two or three, but some people, that were with me like me in the same boat and
Mhm.
still to this day we still communicate and stuff like that as far because the
Mhm.
kids are growing up together. So I have my friends I can be me with, okay, and then I have
Hot
my
girl
mom friends.
summer. Hot
Yeah,
girl summer, right?
yeah. And then I have my mom friends, so
Yeah.
when I need to bring the kids around too, and it just be a whole thing. So definitely it's with friends and my family. Like I say, of course, my kids are their kids, literally. I
Oh.
have no problems in that area as far as, them helping me and being there for me. They have since the beginning and we're here at the end. So
Yes. I love that. I
yes.
love hearing that. And Kaylin, not a mom yet, but I
Yeah.
believe you have an incredible village also. Is
Yes,
that
I do.
true?
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
So when we think about the demands of adulthood, what surprised you about yourself in terms of your readiness for it, or, oh my God, this is overwhelming and I need to build my skill set in this area?
Well, I know my main thing is definitely discipline. Like I said before.
Okay. What about you, Taria?
Um, I can say the same thing as far as the discipline because everything is smooth and everything is just like this until you know what I'm saying, get in the habit of not doing what you're supposed to do because then, you fall
Mhm.
short in, certain
Mhm.
areas if you don't have that discipline to
Mhm.
just like just say example for money.
Mhm.
Oh, I get paid every week. I can just go spend this and spend it all the way down because I'll get it back next week. It's not a good mindset.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and I've
Mhm.
had it before, but it always, came back on me, and that's why I have to have that discipline.
Mhm.
Um, and you
I
said
think you
something,
need Kaylin's budget book.
yeah. You know what I do? Do you know what I do now
What?
that has helped me? And it's just a mind thing, but it's just how I'm wired. I don't know. I put all my money into my savings. So, in
Oh,
order
good
to
for
use
you.
my money, I have to go into the savings and send it to the
I
checkings.
love
And that's
that.
making me look at my money every time. So it's like, okay, you need to stop. You see how much you got. I have to.
I love that.
I do that.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
What about you, Caitlin? You said discipline also. What about you? Where
Yeah.
do you feel like you struggle most with discipline, and how are you coping with that?
Um, just things like I want to work out more. I want to put working out into my schedule.
Mhm.
Um, just doing more things to feed my mind, like reading. I'm not really into reading, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I feel like I'm okay enough for me to be able to read. So like reading more books,
Yeah.
um, and just like waking up earlier. Like I sleep in late,
Yes,
so I
she
want to get up
does.
earlier.
She does. I
Your
be
girl
up.
is calling you out,
Yes,
right?
okay. I know I need to, but also too, like when life gets in your way or whatever, just spending time with people that I love more, like making time for people. I
Yes.
feel like people that I've
Yes.
um, had in my life before, and they're still in my life too, but I used to, be around them more and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. It's like kind of falling off as I gotten older, and I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to get better at that too, just making time for people that I love, and
Mm-hmm.
because life is short. You never know, man.
Yeah, that's real.
And
Yeah.
That is real.
sometimes, from my experience, as far as like falling off with people, sometimes that may be God's way of moving you from certain people. There, you never
Yeah.
know what
Yes.
things are being said that you have not heard, things like that. That's why I just let everything flow. But if you know my heart and you know I love you, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like life does push us every
Yes.
which way. And if we catch up, we catch up. You know what I mean? Because I'm
Yes.
not gonna, oh, we haven't talked and I'm mad at you or vice versa. Like,
Yeah.
you know, type of thing. So
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. You know, you hear from a lot of older folks how concerned they are about the future and Gen Z, blah 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 blah. And by way of the show, I do chat with quite a few Gen Z folks. And I, again, maybe it's that I choose to be optimistic, but I feel exactly the opposite when I talk to you guys. I
Really.
mean, I got to tell you, I didn't have a budget book. I didn't have, I didn't have a process that I had created for myself where I was like, oh, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna put your money, all your money in savings, and you're gonna watch yourself withdraw,
yep,
and you're gonna have to ask yourself, do
yep,
you really want to do that? Do you
Right.
really want to see your savings go down? I am impressed with that.
yeah,
I didn't. I voted because I grew up with a pardon me, a father who expressed the importance of voting for me, and so voting was always something I was doing. But I don't think I had the level of awareness, and certainly it was a different time
Hmm.
that
right,
you ladies have about, oh my God, this is kind of do or die situation.
Hmm.
yeah.
So you guys give me hope. Definitely give me hope. And when you say though, you know, Kaylin, you mentioned the spending more time with people, wanting to work out more, getting up earlier. First of all, the spending more time with people. You know, I'm always wanting to do more of that also. And as a matter of fact, one of my New Year's resolutions this year was to spend more quality time with my friends.
Hmm.
Yes.
Um, However, I have at least four friends that I've been friends with for over 40 years.
Okay.
And if I don't talk to them for a month, as Taria said, we just pick right back up where we left off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They know my heart. I
Yes.
know theirs. And the working out, the reading, the waking up earlier. Who the hell do you think doesn't want to do more of that, Caitlin? That's on everybody's
Yeah.
Literally.
list. Life
Well,
is happening.
I
Life
feel
is
like I'm the only
happening.
one that still sleep when everybody's up.
Okay, the waking up
Shit.
early. I mean, okay, so let me say a couple things about that. So I've always naturally been an early riser. I mean,
Hmm.
literally as a kid,
Yeah. Me too.
because I was super social. So I
Hmm.
want to be up all late, talking on the phones with my friends, being wherever I was going to be. And I wouldn't do my homework at night. So I
Mm.
would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and do my homework.
So you
I
can have
mean,
the rest of the time.
right, exactly. So I get my party on in the evening. For work, I always was my favorite time of the day, to be honest, is 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And I love it because the world is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You have time for yourself.
I,
Um, and I'm telling you, if you get up at that time and you look outside,
sun's about to rise.
I'm not a very religious person,
Mm-hmm.
but it feels like God's time. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the world is speaking just to
Peaceful.
you. So
Yeah.
I encourage you to try it. However, I will say this also. There are people who are just wired to be night owls.
Yeah.
And so that may be you. And I would say if you are getting things done and you are productive that way, you may just have to accept that about yourself.
I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like I know that she works a night job, and I know she gets
Oh,
up at 12, but that does not excuse her.
Taria was like,
Look, 10 o'clock, 11, the latest. You
Wait,
should
say
be
it
up.
again.
10 o'clock, 11 in the morning, the latest. She needs to be up.
I give
Okay,
it
I can
12.
relate to
Not
that.
she. No,
12.
she's. I used to
Hey,
have to hit
hey,
you up at
hey.
like 4.
Hey. That was
That's
every blue
that's
moon.
when I get a response. Now it's probably 2:30.
Okay. Okay. Taria is one of my friends that I said who I know for 40 years. And here's what
Mm-hmm.
I can count on her for. I can count on her to call me on my shit, to be
Yes.
honest.
That's exactly what she does. And I'm grateful for it as well.
Yes, you have to be. You
Yes.
need that friend who, let me tell you, mine, we go someplace and I can count on it. I'm gonna get the phone call the next morning and say, when you said that was not cool. Right.
Mhm.
So it is fantastic that you guys have each other in your village.
Yes,
Yes.
for sure.
Okay, so I have two more questions and
Okay.
we'll start winding up because I know you ladies, between your job, school, baby, businesses, all the above, have a lot going on. And that is, in adulthood, is there anything that keeps you up at night in terms of that really worries you?
Donald Trump.
Woo! But
I'm
I
not
know
gonna
Cannot
he's
just
lie.
be
real.
playing.
I'm for real.
You
And
should be for real.
yeah,
You should be for real. That's real.
yes. And
We
social media.
Yep. Both of those the same for me.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's a baby boomer and a Gen Z worry,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I
And
be
and I will say the Donald Trump thing, people should be worried. We have a presidential candidate who has the philosophy of a dictator,
mm-hmm.
um, who has proven how divisive he was in his initial presidency, uh, to our country, who has put us in a position where, for the first time, and I don't know if this has ever been the case, where our children have less rights than we did.
Yep.
Roe v. Wade has been overturned because of him. He has stacked the Supreme Court with conservatives, resulting in a situation where, the Supreme Court, I think, was always so well respected. And
Mm-hmm.
it is no longer well respected,
At
even
all.
by its other members on the court,
Mhm.
because it is not proving itself to be an unbiased
Right.
court.
Right.
And
Yep.
social media, you want to talk about something keeping you from waking up early, Taria? Lord have mercy. Me and my 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning still
Me,
scrolling on
me too.
TikTok and Instagram.
TikTok, thank you. I'm about to say I'm only on TikTok.
Yeah,
That is dope.
Okay.
it
Yes.
That
is.
is definitely dope. I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying. I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm trying to reduce my consumption.
I find myself trying to set like time when I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, at 2 o'clock I'm gonna get off, and then 2 o'clock come and I'd be like,
Two
okay,
Do
okay,
it
thirty.
again.
2:30.
Right. You move the goalpost. Of course. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And then the next thing you know, it's 3 hours later. Right?
Right, right.
Right?
You the kids up school. Might as well stay up.
Right. And here's the thing. This is what I keep trying to ask myself. Okay. What how is that benefiting you? What
It can be
good is it
beneficial.
doing you? Yeah, I mean, I will say this. I do for the podcast, I get content. I get
Hmm.
people who I want to try to be on the show. But that's baloney if I'm really telling myself that's why I'm on there. Because primarily I'm looking at dogs and kids. So what is the deal here? Right.
Yeah.
All right, Taria, what about you? What keeps you up at night? What worries you?
um, worry. Honestly, it wouldn't. I don't think I have anything to worry about now. I've cleared a lot of people out of my life, so I don't have any worries.
Oh, I love that.
But yes, kind of peaceful now. So, nothing worrisome, but just think honestly, I would wake up and to be honest, let me say this because TikTok, like you say, you be looking at dogs and stuff like that. Like I'm very spiritual and
Mhm. Good for
very
you.
and sometimes like on my TikTok, if I wake up and I usually always wake up maybe around like 2 or 3 in the morning, like on my TikTok for some reason, it's always someone reading certain, scriptures in the Bible, like, and it's just on my timeline. I'm not looking this stuff up, anything like that. During the day, I don't see any of that. So I
Wow.
feel just like you said, 5:30. You feel like it's like God's hours. I definitely feel
Yeah.
the same way because in those times, I feel like it'd be certain things that just be speaking to me on TikTok, and I don't know
Woo.
why. Because in the daytime, it's different. It's funny videos, dogs, cats, everything. Like but those hours definitely be having stuff that I pay attention to. Some inspiring things as well. So yeah, I definitely piggyback on that God's hour thing for sure.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And so I feel like that kind of leads into my other question, which is, what makes you feel everything is going to be okay?
Ooh, faith.
Awesome.
I have
Awesome.
a big amount of faith. I
Woo.
just like okay, everything's going. I give it to God. I pray about it, and I just leave
Hmm.
it alone. And
Woo.
and no time in those times, as time goes by, I see like oh everything's fine. Like
Yeah.
what was I even worried about? You know?
Well, I will say something to that also. Having lived 63 years.
Look good for 63.
Yes.
Really? I did not
Oh,
expect
thank you
that
guys. You guys are
at
sweet.
all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But having lived 63 years, one of the things that I can really say with confidence is that everything has worked out.
Mm-hmm. Good.
That situation that you are so anxious or upset about, you lost your job or you broke up with someone, you look
24.
a year later and you're like, wait a minute, I have a better job.
Right.
That's what we do.
Um,
Yep.
wait a minute, that person was so toxic. If he or she was still in my life, ooh, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah.
Church. Church.
Seriously,
I'm feeling
seriously.
too.
And so, you know, that is one of the things that I encourage people, and I know it's hard when we're in our dark moments,
Hmm.
but I encourage folks to realize it's part of the process. And a lot of times, missteps and failures are just your stepping stones to success.
Yep. And they make you stronger as well.
Yes. Yes. All right, ladies.
I need to hear
This has
that.
been fantastic.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I like to wrap up with what we learned today, what wisdom was shared. And so the number one thing I heard both of you say was get your asses out and vote for Joe Biden. It's
Yes.
A,
not an option.
it's not.
Not you can't not voting,
Mm-hmm.
that is not an option.
Yep.
Not voting for Joe Biden, that is not an option.
Yep.
Get out and vote. That's a
Please.
that's a
Please.
call to everybody and to my Gen Z folks. This is
Right.
from your Gen Z folks, not
Yes.
Mhm.
from me. You don't have
Right.
to listen to Auntie. Her peers are saying, get out and vote. Get out and vote for Joe Biden.
Please.
Yes.
The other things I heard you guys say in terms of what has allowed you to cope with adulthood is you've got some tools that you put in place.
Mhm.
Uh, Kaylin keeps a budget book
Yes.
that her mama told her about and got her on. Taria said, you know what? Let me find what tool works for me. And that's another thing I would say from a wisdom perspective. Sometimes we're looking at what other people do and that
Mhm.
works for them. It may not work for you. Just find a way to get there. And you found a way to get there. You were like, I put all my money in the savings. And I say, you want something? You got to withdraw from there. You
Yep.
want that being reduced?
Yep.
Mm.
You
I
see
love
that?
it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I also loved the tool of the dry erase board. I don't want to forget things. I don't want to have my head clouded with all these things. I
Yeah.
just put it on the
Right.
board.
Take it off my
And
Mhm.
head.
right, and then I get the win of when I do it, I get to erase it and
Yep.
have a sense of accomplishment.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
You both talked about the importance of your village, your friends, and your family,
Mhm.
and how important that is to you. And again, um, you know, I feel like I have had very little wisdom I needed to share today because you ladies have just brought it. I mean, definitely friends and family are everything.
They
I
are.
mean,
Yes.
they are the fuel in our tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And they know when we need things a lot of times before we even say it.
Right.
Yes.
So,
That's true.
Yep.
yep. And then last but not least, I heard Taria say, child, there ain't nothing like my faith. I know I
Yep.
can get through.
Nothing.
Y'all
Nothing.
are awesome. You guys are so awesome.
Thank you.
I wanted to
Okay.
ask you too about the question, what keeps you up at night?
I would agree
Anything
the
social
Donald Trump
media.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. I'll be honest. When he was in office initially, I had to discontinue watching the news totally. I couldn't do it. The amount of negativity was unhealthy for my mental health.
Mhm.
Um, and then once he was out of office, I was able to, watch again. But I do limit my consumption of news in general because I think there's just too much negativity.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Um, but I have already, just with him running for office, started to dial back. Last night, the Republican convention was on.
Mhm.
And normally I would watch because I believe that you should not only watch your candidate, but you need to always, and whatever the situation is, be aware of what your opposition is doing.
Yes.
Right.
And so normally I would have watched the convention, and but I had made the decision not to. That I did not feel like I could handle it. um, a friend though called, and so I turned on some post stuff on CNN and watched it. Um, So that really keeps me up at night. And I would say what is keeping me up at night about that is um, the despondency of folks saying they're not going to vote, because I do think he can be defeated. I
Mm-hmm.
think we
Yeah,
have I think we have the numbers to defeat him.
he's
I
Yeah.
already been
think
defeated before.
exactly. We need we need black and brown folks
Yes,
coming out in droves. We
right.
need women, women,
Mm-hmm.
women,
Yeah,
women, women. Are you kidding me?
yeah, because I can't believe that.
Get to the polls. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me? They're trying to have you barefoot, pregnant, and poor.
everywhere.
And
Yes,
poor.
absolutely, absolutely,
One of the number one determinants of if a woman is going to be poor is if she has a child when she doesn't
absolutely.
want to.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
We can't let
Yeah.
this happen.
yep,
Yeah.
We cannot let it happen.
yep.
So that is at this point what truly keeps me up at night.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for asking that, Kaylin, though.
yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Ladies, Kaylin, tell folks where they can find you and your business and the name again.
So you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Pretty Plush Picnic. That's Pretty Plush PLUSH. Picnic is PICNIK instead of a C.
Awesome. 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 And what about you, Taria? You want folks to find you on social media?
Yes, all my social media is Tariance, TARIYONCE, Taria Beyonce. You know my alter ego.
All right, ladies, it has been an absolute pleasure.
We
Thank
had.
thank you so much for doing this with me.